Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 16 of the Clappercast. I'm Sean.
And I'm Burke.
And today we've got a bit of a recap on the end of round one, so the last few games that were played after our last episode. And then we're going to preview the second round that starts tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. A lot of the teams that were not expected to make it got in, and a lot of teams that were expected got knocked out.
Yeah, and this is also a lot of teams that we haven't seen deep in the playoffs in a long time, so it's going to be exciting to watch.
Parity.
Parity that's the big one.
Yeah. So, where do you want to start?
Let's go to Toronto and Boston.
Okay.
To finish off that series, I mean, we both got Boston. I picked them at 7. I figured
that'd
go.
Is that the only one? Is that why you wanted to start there? Because it's like the only series we got right.
Got to start on a high note.
I'm pretty sure that was our one series that we got.
Yeah, no, actually, I think that was it. I got Boston. I picked Boston in 7 because I got three winners right.
Yeah, everybody knew this was going to go to 7. You just had a feeling.
Yeah,
it was going to happen. It's tradition.
Basically, at this point, what's that? 3 years in a row now, or is it 2?
No, it's 3 in the last 6 years.
Right.
I think. Yeah. So we knew Boston was going to win because
it's Boston.
It's Boston versus Toronto.
They're a hell of a bit. They're a team that's built really, really well, top to bottom.
Yeah, and they got some quality depth scoring, and especially Game 7.
Yeah, that was huge for them to have. I think it was like Nordstrom and Kuraly.
Yeah, and
a couple of big goals.
Johansson.
Yeah,
Mojo got his first goal.
Yeah, so for them to be able to do that and win without Bergeron and Marchand and Pasternak performing very well, it was pretty big.
Yeah, it was huge. And Toronto had their typical Game 7 issues. Turnovers,
bad passing. That stretch pass play that they kept making, like how many times did that get picked off?
Yeah, Boston had a very good game of holding Toronto at Toronto's blue line.
Yeah.
They prevented a lot of breakouts, and they got a goal directly off of one of those.
Yep. I'm thinking that Gardner one where he back passed it behind the net to Boston.
Yeah, so Gardner wasn't as bad as he was last year, but that play was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And if you listen to Babcock after the game, he said Gardner was at about 60% or whatever, but he's still a better option than whoever else was available at 100%.
I think he had a herniated disc or something.
But he also said we were playing in the game until it was 3-1. Or he said something like until they got that third goal, we were right in the game, and then after that we were out of it. And that third goal, I believe, was the Gardner one.
That's not good for that. I mean, you're only down by 2.
Yeah, he said we were playing a good game until then, and then it was just fuck, it's over. And a lot of people are upset at Babcock about his player usage, and
I think that's fair.
They feel like he got outcoached.
I think that's fair. I think I was going to bring this up, that looking at the ice time of the players, his best players are barely getting 15, 16 minutes a night.
Yeah,
and
stupid.
He's he's playing guys like is it Trevor Moore?
Yeah,
and Moore and Brown and Hyman are just constantly out there all the time, and he seems to favor those players over, Tavares, Marner, Matthews.
And the fact that Patrick Marleau was out there when the goalie was pulled.
Yeah,
and Marlowe's been terribad this season. Maybe just have Matthews out there 24/7 at that point.
You'd think.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a rough one. It kind of got me thinking, Babcock hasn't been successful for 7-8 years. Is he really going to be able to adapt and coach in this league now?
I think we touched on this in an earlier podcast where we said Babcock's better suited for a different style team.
Yeah.
Where the players that are on Toronto don't align with how he likes to coach the game and how he likes to play the game. So Toronto, I think, needs a coach more willing to utilize skill players more. Because if you look back at Babcock in Detroit, his best offensive threats were also very good defensively. You had Zetterberg, Datsuk. He also had, Lidstrom on the team.
Yeah.
So he had a lot of 200-foot players that he could just use all the time.
Yeah, and then he had guys like Holmstrom and Draper
Yeah,
that
and
like
Helm.
they were his style.
Exactly.
Right?
So you had good two-way players, and then you had that gritty fourth or third line,
Yeah.
checking lines to get energy.
So just he might be a better coach for a team like the Islanders because they have those two like physical bottom lines. I don't think he'd do great with those top two lines because they're more skill speed based.
Right.
But they've got that physical, that presence that Babcock utilizes better.
Yeah, and he made those comments earlier in the season too about depth and how Toronto doesn't have the best.
Yeah.
And how they're doing what they can with what they have.
Yeah.
And you saw that in playoffs. I mean, he wanted to keep Gardner in the lineup compared to anybody else. I mean, you can't blame him if you want to bring up like Moranson or whoever else they even have. That Ozhiganov.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I think Marinchen's probably their next best.
I don't know if
he was like their 7th.
Yeah, I don't know if having elite scorer, elite sniper Ron Hainsey on your top pairing is good, but he's a right-hand D, and they don't have any, and they got Muzzin at the deadline, who's left-handed. So I see where Babcock is struggling, but also it's tough. It's a tough look not playing your best players. Also, the fact that their power play was horrible isn't a good look, and I think whoever coaches their power play, like the Capitals power play coach, should get fired.
Yeah, so wasn't Patrick Marleau on the first power play unit at some point in Game 7?
Probably.
Like he got sent out first shift on a power play.
I think the whole second power play unit was used first overall.
It's kind of a questionable decision for a team that's got elite sniper, elite playmaker, offensive defenseman extraordinaire.
Yeah, the only adjustment that they made, I believe, to the top unit was to switch the sides that Matthews and Marner were playing on. So it caused some confusion, and you could see it in the game because Matthews was doing like drop passes to the point, and nobody was there because he's used to playing on the other side.
Yeah, of course.
So I think that they need to take a real hard look at their coaching strategies and personnel, and moving forward, perhaps tweak that.
Yeah, that's like Edmonton last offseason got rid of all of their assistants because like their power play coach was not doing very well with what he had. Now he's the AHL coach, but he's doing well down there with those guys. But they brought in Trent Yanni for defense, who's actually good at defensive coaching, and they brought in a guy from Manny Vivros from the WHL.
Right.
Led a good power play. And it's probably time for the Leafs to maybe take a look into that to see if they can get a little bit more with what they have.
Yeah, I believe Babcock got out-coached just heavily.
Yeah.
It's like, with the talent that's on that Toronto team.
Yeah, and it's not like they didn't put up a fight, because they did.
No, they definitely did.
It was still a good series. They were still in it.
But just having Kadri out, like Babcock in his presser definitely said having Kadri out hurt the team. Obviously, yeah, but it's just like a third line center.
Yeah.
So he doesn't play on the power play, I don't believe. So, or he might on the second unit in front of the net or something. But that's not enough to lose a series.
No.
So, congrats to the Bruins. They played a really good series and kind of felt after how they won Game 6, they were going to win Game 7.
For sure.
That's kind of how I felt about Carolina, too.
Yeah, so let's move right into that series. So, you being the resident Caps fan, does getting upset like this hurt less because of the Cup last year? That
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am totally... I've come to terms with it a lot easier than I have previously when the Caps got eliminated because of that Cup.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good, but you could kind of tell they were getting outplayed in the majority of the games.
Big time. And, I mean, I know you didn't watch the game yesterday. You couldn't watch it.
Unfortunately, yeah, I had some personal things going on. But thanks for keeping me posted during the game. It was definitely good.
Yeah, so, I mean, Washington, they came out strong. They played well the first little bit. They got an early lead, but they couldn't hold it. And Carolina, like, it's that speed, that pressure, that tempo they keep playing. That over the course of the game, they just dominated. And by the time they got to overtime, Washington could barely get the puck into the offensive zone. Yeah, and they only had a couple of chances in like 30 minutes of overtime.
I believe the Capitals lost because of injuries, but also because of coaching. Todd Reirden kind of struggled all season. He was a defensive coach last year with Barry Trotz, and he took over. And right from the start, I really wish the Capitals offered Trotz the amount of money that he was worth.
Was that the issue?
Yeah.
It was money?
100%. They weren't willing to spend enough. Because Trotz just won the Cup. I mean, you got to pay the man.
Of course. I mean, he's one of the most successful coaches in the NHL right now, coming off of a Cup win.
And it was a disappointing season because there was quite a long stretches where you could see the team just couldn't win based off their talent alone.
Yeah.
But a lot of games they did. I don't think it was the coaches' success. It was the players doing their thing. And not to take anything away from Carolina, but just focusing on the team I know more about. Kuznetsov was not playing up to 100%. He looked really bad this playoffs.
I wonder if he's hurt.
I think the concussion that he got earlier in the season really knocked him back.
Yeah, because he didn't even get a goal in the series until yesterday.
Last night, yeah. And losing Oshie is huge.
Kempny.
And having Kempny out is really bad because he was such a stabilizing factor on the defense. And I feel like they would be able to hold on to some more leads with Kempny because he's so much better defensively than anybody else on the team. He can clear the zone.
Especially when the people who end up coming into the lineup to replace him are like Juice and Siegenthaler. Yeah. They're like young defensemen prone to errors.
And they played Carlson with Jensen, and they're both right-handed. So
which is kind of a weird one. You
Carlson
don't see that
had to play off on his offside, and he looked bad. And when you have Kempny playing with Carlson, they play a complete opposite game, and they complement each other very, very nicely.
For sure.
And
it's kind of a weird decision.
Kempny makes up for the Carlson's defensive woes, and Carlson has the offense to, join the rush.
Yeah, that's kind of weird they put Carlson on the offside instead of Jensen.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd have the better one.
Yeah, I think Carlson has played offside more or something, or I don't know. It's definitely not a usual thing to do, and I just can't stress enough how much Kempny means to the team.
Yeah.
You saw it last year. He just stabilized the D-line.
He was one of the best players on that team all the way to the Cup.
But the main issue I had with the Capitals was the power play.
That slingshot.
That fucking slingshot play is the worst thing to ever happen to hockey. I hate it
so much.
So goddamn much. It's the worst play ever. Yeah, let's have everybody skate forward, stand stationary while one guy skates and then gets caught at the blue line.
Yeah.
Then we're all standing still. Another team could just go down and get a shorthanded chance.
Yeah, and then you've got the one guy who's skating who makes it to the face-off circles before anyone else even starts skating again.
Oh, it's the fucking worst. I think it's Blaine Forsyth.
I believe that's the name.
I think that's the power play coach, the bald guy. Fucking can him. It's terrible to have that all series, all year, basically.
Well, they were doing it in overtime. They tried it 3 or 4 times, and then didn't even
get it. Yeah, they just give the puck to Kuznetsov or Eller or Vrana. That's it.
Yeah, I don't even know if they got an actual successful zone entry off of it.
They can only score if they're off the fucking face-off.
Yeah.
So just shoot it on net then. Shoot the puck on net and try and get a forechecker on it so that Mrazek covers it, and then have an offensive zone face-off. That's not that hard of an adjustment to make. And they didn't do it.
No. They didn't adapt their game at all, and Carolina just kept pummeling them.
Carolina just wouldn't give up. And I also hated that Williams got a point.
Of course,
on the overtime.
kind
on
of
the game winner,
bitter
series winner,
yeah.
because he's now 8-1 in Game 7s, and the one is when he was on the Capitals and he did sweet fuck all in Game 7 against the Penguins.
We were all looking forward to Mr. Game 7 finally getting the Caps past Pittsburgh that year, and he didn't do a damn thing.
No. Yeah, so, I mean, congrats to the Hurricanes. I didn't think they were going to do it, but
No,
they played a much better series than they
never say
stuck
die
with
attitude.
it. Yeah.
Let's head out west to Nashville and Dallas. I know you didn't watch a whole lot of this series,
No, I watched the overtime, though.
which I still maintain that might have been one of the best periods of hockey all season. That was
Yeah.
such a good period. It was so fast-paced and
was
just
pretty
back
crazy.
and forth. Just good hockey. And, I think, like we talked about on the last episode, that Nashville was kind of in the same trap that Winnipeg was, where they stumbled into the playoffs and they couldn't find their game.
Yeah.
Rocco Grimaldi, like I said, was the only Predator that I even remember seeing.
He was
like,
their top
doing
scorer,
well.
wasn't
Yeah.
he? And he
to have
didn't
been.
play all the games in the series, right?
I don't think so. I think he was a fill-in for someone else.
Yeah, I think Wayne Simmons was a huge letdown for them.
Yeah, it sucks that he got injured too.
Yeah.
But he
And
didn't. Even then, he still got a decent chance, and he didn't really fit in
No.
with what they did.
No.
Surprisingly enough, to be honest.
And then they gave up a lot for him. I mean, less than people expected, but yeah. He didn't really do enough to warrant that trade, I don't think.
Which, kind of a risk with trade deadline acquisitions on short term, but
I think kind of the through line here with all these series is the power play, because Nashville was a team that got 0 power play goals. So whoever their coach is should definitely get fired.
yeah, that I don't even know. I still don't know how that's possible to go that long.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that.
And this is coming from an Oilers fan watching our power play in 17-18.
What was it, a 6-game series?
Yep.
4-2? Yeah, how do you get 0 power play goals in 6 games?
Which I think was like 15 power plays, I want to say.
Yeah.
Which that's totally unconfirmed. I just thought I heard that number somewhere. But how
Sounds
do you
right.
do that?
Brutal.
It's that's a killer.
Yeah, I mean, like Toronto, they had the only power plays in Game 7. Capitals had that power play in overtime,
And yeah,
and Nashville had 0 power play goals in the entire series. Like, that is a huge difference maker.
and then unfortunately, because Rene didn't play bad all series, he had that one bad period. That was really the turning point, because I think it was 2-2 going into that game, and then Nashville gives up 4 goals in the first period, and their series is Dallas's now.
Yeah.
And I think that was a major point, and kind of like we were talking about before, that the first goalie that has a bad period lets in a dumb goal or something, they're going to lose. And that's what happened.
That's what happened, yeah. Get out your crystal ball for the next round, Sean. You
Yeah,
got
really.
some dank predictions that come true.
Yeah, my 3 for 8 on the bracket challenge.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, this is the first time the NHL has ever done second chance.
Fair enough.
So, I mean, it's not like we're alone here.
Yeah, it's not like I'm alone in my terrible bracket.
No, literally everybody, except for that like 5% that have, I don't know, just troll brackets.
I actually saw on Reddit that someone managed to get every single series wrong,
Wow.
which it's impressive.
I mean, we're not that far off.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, congrats to Dallas. Some huge clutch overtime goals, and that goal that they got was super nice too. Really nice. And it's pretty awesome that, as Don Cherry would say, Radulov got an assist on that series-winning goal.
Yeah,
pretty clutch. Yeah,
so that's gonna be fun to watch, because they're just a pretty high-flying team right now.
they are fun to watch. Definitely fun. So congrats to the Dallas Stars, and maybe let's move on to the final series that we haven't touched on, which is San Jose and Vegas.
Controversial as fuck.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I prefer the Sharks at this point, just because I wanted to see Thornton get a cup.
Yeah.
And just that ending, though, is
Nice ending, you fucking bitch, as Carlson would say. Yeah, I mean, that I have never seen a game like that. I
No.
was literally jumping around. I mean, like, oh my god, what the fuck is happening?
It was absurd because you left my house. It was 3-0 and the third period had just started. Or it was 2-0 and the third period had just started.
Yeah,
And then I texted you because as soon as you like left my driveway, Pacioretty scored and it's 3-0.
yeah.
And then you get home, probably 10 minutes later,
Mm-hmm.
and suddenly the Sharks are like on the power play.
I got home and I saw Pavelski on the ice, and my old man was like, Pavelski just got fucked,
Yeah.
and he's bleeding on the ice, and I don't know what happened. They didn't really show it like on the first play.
Well, I didn't even know what happened either. Like I was watching, and all of a sudden Pavelski's motionless on the ice.
Yeah, so then we saw the replay, and I mean, there was cross check and then kind of like a throw to the ice by Stasny.
Which I don't even think was a deliberate throwdown.
No,
I
I
think
mean,
he
he
was
just
getting
like
out
got
of
him
the way.
out of the way, but it definitely didn't help.
No, and I think that should have been what was called rather than the cross check.
Yeah, I think I could go either way. It was just
Yeah.
kind of like a tag team on a defenseless player because he got knocked off balance and then thrown down. And I thought he like over rotated his hip or something because you see his hips twist like crazy when he's falling.
I didn't. I was solely watching the head because he was bleeding from there.
Yeah, it looked pretty dangerous. I mean, looked like he got knocked right out.
Yeah.
And just based on the fact that he got pretty violently thrown to the ice, I'm okay with the call because of the injury and because I know that referees usually call a major if there's an injury on the play.
Yeah.
So
I think the issue, because I think it was absolutely the wrong call. I think it should have been a minor at most.
Yeah.
I don't think the major and match was appropriate, and well, neither does the NHL at this point, considering they called Vegas's GM to apologize for that because it was wrong.
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's
But
the 100% correct call. I'm just saying I'm okay with
it's
it.
justifiable.
Yeah, because
And
at live speed.
and this is another point because the refs, when they were telling Gallant what happened, that the refs thought that the cross check was to Pavelski's face because of the injury.
Yeah, I could
That
definitely see that.
They actually didn't see it happen in real time. They didn't call a penalty on it until the injury.
And how can you?
Yeah.
Right? Like it's right off the face-off. You see a guy.
It's off the face-off and the puck's not there.
I've seen that cross-check play literally every game.
Yeah.
But there's some times where someone gets somebody right in the face.
Yeah.
So it's not an
an
huge
unreasonable
leap
yeah.
to assume in that situation that it was to the head. It's a crazy play, and I can't really fault the refs for calling it that way based off of they don't get a review process. I mean, it's unfortunate for Vegas, but the way I see it is you cannot allow four power play goals against you on the same penalty. I've literally never seen that happen.
I think it happened once with like Detroit and the Islanders. I want to say Barzal.
I've
got a
literally
bunch of points.
never fucking seen that happen. That's why I was so crazy. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like down 3-0
And I mean,
and come back 4-3?
You know, for sure Vegas's penalty kills at fault on that because like you have to get back into the game.
Yeah.
After that, you can't let that happen. But I still think that like that call absolutely gave San Jose the series because that they would never have had 4 power plays in the last 10 minutes to get 4 goals.
Yeah, I mean, I see that argument. I just think you can't let that call dictate the series.
Yeah.
If you're Vegas. You have to say, oh, we got to kill this off. That was bullshit. Let's do this for Eakin.
Yeah, that's someone's
kill it
gotta,
off.
Yeah.
And you see every goal, there's a lapse in coverage where Vegas is all on one side of the ice and leave like Couture wide fucking open. And then the last goal where LeBanc, I guess, he's at the blue line, and I saw it. He looks around and nobody's fucking coming to him, so he just skates right to the net. Like he looks around.
He was wide open right at the blue line, right?
He like looks around and nobody's coming to him. He's got so much time and space, and he just walks in. And I mean, he had a fucking nice shot to get it through everybody. There's so many bodies there, but it was crazy. Like I've literally never seen that happen. I can't believe that happened. And then Vegas ties it up,
With
forces
40,
overtime.
47
So also
seconds.
they have all of that overtime time to get the series still.
Yeah, and I think that's the main counter to my issue with it is like Vegas still did have a chance going into overtime.
Yeah.
So
They still had every chance. And another thing that I pulling out of this series is that Fleury kind of regressed to regular playoff Fleury.
He was a bit more Martin Jonesy the last couple of games.
This is how Fleury used to play in Pittsburgh. Everybody forgets that he was almost labeled a choker in playoffs for Pittsburgh when after he beat the Capitals 2 years ago and then played insane last year for Vegas. Those last 2 years are what people remember. And I even heard that like some commentators were saying, like, if there's anybody who could stop that power play, it would be Fleury. It's like, well, you're forgetting that he's been pretty shaky before in playoffs.
Yeah, he's never been a superstar goalie. He's been like a slightly above average goalie.
That's
for a
always
really
been the
good
knock
team.
against him, is that he's had pretty average numbers on really good teams.
Yeah,
and he's never had like insane seasons.
for sure.
But it's hard. I don't know.
I do think Martin Jones finally decided to be an average NHL goalie for, was it games 6 and 7?
Yeah.
The double overtime game there.
Yeah.
That he was good. That he stepped up and he made some big saves. He kept San Jose in the game long enough to win game 6. And that's the Martin Jones that has to show up for San Jose to keep rolling.
Right. Yeah, it was it's pretty impressive that he found his game after having been so bad. That's another thing on that penalty kill, that Vegas got some like 2-on-1s and then they missed the net. So then it came back around. It's just, I don't know. Yeah, I get the frustration and anger, but you gotta kill that. At least not let up a goal a minute.
Basically.
So.
And I mean, this is going to be a topic for another time, but I did just see too that Bill Foley, the Knights owner, is going to be pushing hard for a review process on major penalties.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I think that would be good for the league, and
I mean,
it's the sad truth, but sometimes this is what it takes.
Exactly. And we saw it twice with situations in these playoffs. First with Ferland's hit.
Right.
That if that was reviewed, that would probably have been rescinded to a minor at the most. And Aiken's penalty probably would have been canceled off or changed or moved over to Stasny or something.
Yeah.
So, you wonder how they're going to implement it if and when that is the thing. If it's like a situation room initiated on major physical penalties like roughing, cross-checking, elbowing type stuff. Or if
challenge.
If it's an expansion of the coach's challenge, that if they think the penalty shouldn't have happened on the bench, then they can challenge it with the same penalty that challenging a goal would have.
I would like to see that for major penalties, not for minors or anything else, but just major penalties.
I would only have it for physical-based penalties. No stick infractions or tripping, hooking, high sticking, none of that.
Right.
Just for physical-based penalties.
Yeah. I think that's probably what's going to end up happening. But can we even trust a review process at this point?
We can't.
Because we saw it
can't.
Every series. Goaltender interference is a fucking joke.
Absolutely.
It's an absolute farce. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. We can't trust it, but it's like frustration with the current situation making the alternative seem better at the time. So
yeah, they either need to make more camera angles available to broadcast so people see what the NHL is looking at, or they need to hone in on what the actual rule is.
They need the language in the rules is very vague, and they kind of have to leave it vague because hockey's such a dynamic game, but they need to start nailing down situations and labeling precedent. And another issue that I have with the review process, with the player safety, with all of that, is that the public answers they give are just like a quote from the rule book. There's no explanation. There's no situational application. It's just here's a generic quote that may or may not apply.
Yeah, I mean, they've done those videos for suspensions and stuff like, this is cross-checking. And Brendan Shanahan used to do those videos.
Yeah.
Those were good. Because, they were like totally dumbed down, but it was at least analysis of the play.
For sure.
And it showed you why they gave somebody a certain length of a suspension. Because they said, like, they even broke it down to, like, math and stuff. So I'd like to see them do that for, goaltender interference and stuff. And
That
say,
would
like,
be huge.
this is where we see him touching the goalie
Yeah.
or something.
And the thing is, like, there's always going to be people saying it was the wrong call. But at least if there's an explanation specific to the situation,
Right.
then you can start to try and look at it from their perspective, compare it to the rule book, and say, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
That everyone's going to interpret it differently, and the league, who they ultimately know more than any fan will about what exactly is and isn't, and understanding what situation is going to be what call,
Right.
that they can make the call, explain why, and then leave it at that.
And there'll always be a loophole in the rule book where it's at the referee's discretion, or, whatever
and,
the referee sees.
Yeah, and that's kind of fair because, like,
good.
Yeah,
It's good because referees interpret things differently than fans, obviously. But where the danger of that is not every referee has the same standard of play, and not every referee has the same thickness of skin. So you have different levels of tolerance for different things.
Yeah.
And you see that in these playoffs. Some games they crack down, other refs like to let them play.
Yeah.
Every game 7 is, you can almost guarantee they're not going to call very much because they don't want to dictate who wins.
Yeah.
And that's why in that Sharks game, I don't fault the referees because they don't like to call a lot of penalties, but if someone gets fucked up like that, you're going to have a team mad at you either way.
Yep.
So the safe thing to do, and I think this is what Ron McLean said, is call a penalty, call it a major, because someone got hurt on the play.
Yep.
So the safe thing to do is to penalize somebody and just say, look, we got him.
Yeah.
And then after the fact, you can always say, like,
Yeah, because I guess the worry if you don't is, like, that's bad for game management, where you now have a pissed off San Jose coming out and headhunting.
It's the last 10 minutes of the game 7. You don't call that. Their captain goes down with a head injury.
Yeah.
Somebody might get run into the boards or whatever.
Yeah, and that looks.
And you
worse.
have Evander Kane. You have Ryan Reeves. I mean, Jumbo Joe headshotted someone. You have fucking Braden McNabb.
Yeah.
Who got away with suspensions all series. So, game management, call a major. Yeah. It's an unfortunate outcome for Vegas, but it's an absolutely historic moment for the NHL. Like, that game was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we got to give the refs some credit here because they single-handedly made the most exciting game of the year.
Yeah.
Like,
that was...
Like, props to, I think it was O'Halloran and Burnett or something.
Furlat.
Yeah,
O'Halloran sucks. Eric Furlat's usually okay. But I don't know who made the call, but that's another thing, too. A lot of fans were complaining that the referees didn't have their arm up and stuff on the play, but with a major, you don't need to because linesmen can give their input.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the linesmen are being held back from round 2, but
I didn't see that
they
far.
Probably had a hand in that call. Because
they all huddled, and I think they came, like, that's the ruling they came to after the play.
Well, I would wager, if I was a betting man, that the linesman who dropped the puck on that face-off probably had a huge impact on that call because he was right there.
Yeah, it might have been in his peripheral by that point because he was looking at the play, but
he might have been backing up to try and get out of the zone or whatever, but he probably had a pretty huge hand in that.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was probably one of the most exciting parts of the fucking playoffs, though.
By far. And this playoffs, that's a huge feat.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
Yeah. I mean, we're looking at the teams left for the second round.
Very unexpected.
Nice segue here.
Yeah, maybe let's change gears here and do some previews.
Yeah.
So we started in the East last, so let's start in the West this time.
Damn Western bias.
Yeah. So let's start with Colorado, San Jose.
I got to go San Jose on this one, I think.
Me too.
I have a hard time, though, because Colorado gets a lot of fucking shots on net.
I think it's going to be a long series. But, yeah, I mean, if Jones plays Game 6-7 style...
We need to know which Jones we're going to get here, because Colorado's going to put 45 shots a game on him. Like, it doesn't matter if he's... Like, that's going to be 3 or 4 goals any game, no matter what.
Right.
But if it's bad Jones, then that's going to be 5 goals a game. And like San Jose's good offensively, but not that good against a Grubauer goalie who's been putting up amazing numbers.
Yeah, hot goalie. It's
So-
always tough,
As I say that point, I'm almost tempted to say Colorado in 6 or 7.
right? I got San Jose in 6.
I'm going to go Colorado in 7.
Now let's do our little game here again. Difference maker.
Yeah.
Erik Karlsson, I believe,
He had 9 points.
he had the second highest point total for a defenseman in a series all time. So I'll take that win.
For sure. And I'll take my win on Martin Jones because he kept San Jose in it for games 6 and 7.
Yeah,
I'll take my win on that.
undisputedly. So for this series, who you got?
I have to go Jones again.
Yeah.
Like I just explained, like if Colorado's going to play their game, they're going to put up 40 shots a night. Jones has to be able to put up like a 920, 930 save percentage to keep San Jose in that.
Right.
Otherwise, they're giving up 4 or 5 goals a game, and you can't. This isn't the 80s anymore. You can't win on that.
Yeah.
More often than not, anyways.
Is it questionable that Karlsson plays the second round? Because he's hurt, apparently.
There's no way he sits out. I mean,
Yeah.
apparently the guy can barely walk right now, but there's no way he sits
I
out
mean, we've seen him beat teams single-handedly before
on
with
1 foot.
1 foot. Yeah. So, I think I might pick Karlsson again.
Again. Yeah, no, that's yeah.
Karlsson and Grubauer, I think, are going to be keys
Yeah,
to success.
Grubauer's got to stay up. He's got to keep up what he did in the first round.
Yeah.
Because I think, again, San Jose is a very good offensive team, rivaling Calgary, I would say.
I believe in Grubauer though, so I think it's not going to be an easy series for anybody.
No, this is going to be it. This is going to be fun. This one as well.
I'm not sure what the season matchup was.
Didn't look into it.
Yeah. Don't expect us to do a lot of work here to prepare.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the season matchups kind of got thrown out the window watching that first round.
That's very, very good point.
So it's like, what's the point? It might be a decent predictor in the regular season.
Completely different teams.
Yeah, completely different teams, different situation.
All right, well, so you were saying Colorado 6 or 7, and
Colorado,
I'm saying
yeah.
Sharks 6.
I'll say 7 for the hard prediction, but
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to say Sharks in 6, with Karlsson being the beauty of the series. Okay, so then the next one would be Dallas versus
St. Louis.
St. Louis. Who you got?
I think St. Louis pulls out 6. St. Louis in 6, I think.
Okay.
How about you?
I'm going to say Dallas in 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one's close. 'Cause I mean, look, comparing the lineups anyways, the goalies are almost a wash. I would give the
Right.
edge to Dallas for consistency, like longevity, I mean.
Okay.
And they have a better backup.
That's true.
St. Louis absolutely has defensemen. There's
Can't
no
confirm.
Yeah.
You probably
Oh,
play
they
about
do actually have
play about
defensemen.
6 a
So,
game.
yeah, maybe 5 if one of them gets hurt or something. If you want to roll 13 forwards.
Yeah.
St. Louis has the edge in defensemen, I think. That Dallas's might be better offensively, but St. Louis is
I was just going to say
deeper.
I think their defense is better, like team defense is better,
yeah.
but Dallas has that speed.
Yeah.
That, that Heiskanen type.
Yeah, they've got Heiskanen and Klingberg.
Yeah.
So
Enjoying the play.
for sure.
Yeah.
Dallas has the better offensive forwards, top end, I think.
I
But
think
St.
so
Louis
too.
has the better depth. They have got the better two-way structure, depth forwards. So that one I have to give it to St. Louis very, very slightly, because
Yeah, I think it's going to be another tough series.
Yeah.
I mean, as much of a cop-out as that sounds, I think they're pretty equally matched.
Yeah.
And I don't see one having too much of an advantage over the other,
No.
or enough to swing the series.
no.
So
And I mean we're rolling St. Louis is still on that insane hot streak that we need. This could end at any time. It could keep going until the finals. Who knows?
yeah, true.
That it's hard to really predict, and I think the way Binnington starts out the series, if he can keep that going, that's gonna set the tone for what St. Louis can do.
Right.
And again, like how quickly is Dallas going to be able to counter that?
Right.
Are they going to find a way to score on him?
Yeah, so last round I picked Tarasenko for the Blues, and he didn't really do a whole lot. I mean, he contributed, but ultimately it wasn't that top line that got a lot of goals. No. This series, I guess picking Dallas in 7, I will pick Seguin. Seguin's going to have I hope he's going to have a better series, or he gets a lot more shots.
I think.
And some more points.
To counter that, I think Ryan O'Reilly's going to be huge in this series.
Yeah.
That I have to imagine he's going to be the center against the Ben Seguin-Radulov line.
He's going to have a big shutdown.
He's going to have to be Selke caliber here. That his point production, we probably don't need to worry about that. Like, even if he gets no points, if he can defensively keep that line in check.
That line is so crazy. Ben Seguin and Radulov.
Who would think that? Like, that's a legitimate all-star line.
It's so good. Good.
They're scary in OT.
Oh, I know. They beat the Capitals in OT once, and it was insane.
They're
so fun to watch.
For sure. Watching them play against Edmonton, it's basically, that line's out. That's a guaranteed goal.
All right, I guess we're going minus everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Dallas in 7 and Blues in 6.
Yeah.
With O'Reilly and Seguin. Okay. So we're just gonna pick the opposite teams every time here, or
I
what?
think so. I think that's where we're going this time.
Okay. Let's go Columbus Bruins.
Yeah. I'll say Bruins in 6.
I'm picking Columbus.
We really are.
Yeah.
Not coordinated at all.
I'm gonna pick Columbus in 6.
Columbus in 6. Yeah. Bruins in 6 for me. I see Columbus as kind of like a Bruins light.
Wait, just sorry to interrupt you. Have you ever watched a Columbus Bruins game?
Do they exist?
I've never watched one, ever.
I don't think I've ever even heard of those two teams playing against each other, to be honest.
I mean, they're in the same conference.
That's actually a really good interruption there.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but
no, that's a good one.
I've literally never seen
I'm glad
them
you
play
brought
each
that
other.
up because I don't even think I've watched ever a Bruins Blue Jackets game.
I mean, who has the best R Nash in history?
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, I think both R Nashes have played for both.
I think so.
Because I'm pretty
It's
sure
the
Riley
Battle
had.
of R Nash.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sorry.
Okay. Anyways, I kind of see Columbus as a bit of a Bruins light.
Yeah.
Where they have that one dynamic offensive line and 3 physical, fast forward lines with just a whole bunch of really good two-way defensemen and a top-tier goalie. And I kind of see them playing similar games as well.
100%. I'm on board with that idea.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is a case where the kid can beat the dad yet, but I have to think that, the Bruins will beat Bruins light.
I think this is my pick for the most exciting series because it's going to be basically the same type of hockey against the same type of hockey.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to adapt a lot to win, I think. And Rask versus Bob is going to be huge. I think, it's going to be exciting. I'm really, really looking forward to this series.
So,
this is going to be my favorite one.
Yeah. We know now Columbus is going to go hard on that trap.
Yeah.
I don't have quite that. I'm not that familiar with Boston's style. Like if they can counter that or if they play it themselves.
I don't think they were doing the trap against Toronto.
I think they're a bit more free flowing. Generally.
I mean, we saw them hold Toronto at their blue line a lot, but I don't think that was really the trap. I think
that was just Toronto giving the puck away.
Toronto going for the Seagull and getting caught, which was amazing. I love that. Doesn't matter if it's Toronto. I just love seeing the Seagull get shut down.
Yeah.
And I could really see it going either way because they do play the same series. I guess my heart is coming into this guess a little bit because I want Columbus to go on.
Yeah. I kind of
They're my pick right now. out of all the teams that are left, I'd want to see Columbus versus St. Louis, I think.
The Blues.
Yeah, even though I'm picking Dallas,
The sad final.
I want a final where it's going to be a team that's never won versus another team that's never won.
If it's not my team, I want a team that's never won. That's the ultimate thing for me.
Yeah.
I was going to say something that I completely forgot.
It's okay. Yeah, I think what's it going to come down to for a game changer for you, do you think? You're picking somebody on Boston?
I think this time I'm gonna have to go. I'm probably gonna take like the same page I took in the first series and say someone on Columbus's depth.
Right.
I'll put a name and say Ryan Dzingel.
Isn't that who you picked last time?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just me taking a notable name from Columbus's depth because those first lines are kind of a wash.
Right.
To be honest, like I think Boston's better defensively.
I mean, they have that best line in hockey, basically. But Pasternak wasn't playing with them.
Yeah, true. They did jumble their lines up a little bit for that.
Which is amazing coaching because he put him on another line and they started scoring.
Yeah.
He was playing with Krejci and he started scoring.
Pasternak didn't have a very good Game 7, but he did put up a couple goals in a different game. So,
yeah, Brad Marchand had a really good Game 7, especially that first empty netter.
Yeah.
Or was that Game 6? I don't know. Anyway,
I do like the massive fuck you goal at the end of Game 7.
Yeah, Bergeron.
0.6 seconds left.
Yeah, I saw some.
That's my favorite.
Some Leafs fans were saying like praise Bergeron for scoring, so it was 5-1 and not 4-1 again.
I had my phone ready to take a picture of the final score at the end of the game so I could post it on Instagram and say it was 4-1, but they scored
and they didn't
and then it
like
got ruined.
add that to the score until like much later, so they like it looked like the official score was 4-1.
So many accounts on Twitter had 4-1,
and his goal didn't count, but it did. It was just like they tallied it up after.
Yeah. So, anyways, going back to me picking a player, like I said, the first lines are kind of a wash. That Columbus's depth is a little bit weaker than Boston's, I think.
Right.
That I think that depth's now going to have to step up to provide some defense, some offense, some speed, pace control, like all of that. I'm just putting a name on it saying Ryan Dzingel, but guys, I mean, Atkinson, Anderson, Foligno, they're all going to be huge.
Do you think that... are you aware of what McQuaid's injury is? Does he have a concussion or something?
I forgot about him.
I'm wondering if he's going to be coming back because they brought him in as depth D-man, but I don't know who else they have in their system for depth D-man.
Yeah.
And who Boston has for depth D-men, but I think that the defense on both teams are going to get hammered with hits. So I could see some injuries happening in this series.
Sure. It's going to be heavy. And I mean, it's going to be heavy because like you look at Tortorella's style and how Columbus plays. You look, Boston, the Big Bad Bruins, they still have that moniker. They still play like that a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know who I'm going to pick for a difference maker. I think I'm going to have to pick Bobrovsky. If he keeps fucking playing like he's playing, I think that Boston's
they're going to struggle.
They're going to struggle to score. And
especially if Columbus can keep up that trap in front of them. Because that was really shutting down a lot of Tampa's good chances.
Yeah, like if Columbus can shut down Tampa Bay, it could be argued they could shut down anybody.
For sure.
So if they can continue to shut down block shots like Torts loves and just decrease the amount of chances that Boston gets, they've got a really good chance.
And I think the common theme I'm noticing in these playoffs is speed and tempo tempo and control of pace.
Right.
That like all of these teams, like the big teams like Tampa, Washington, Calgary, they're not slow, but they don't factor the speed in as a main part of their strategy. That a lot of teams are taking a little bit of a Vegas's playbook with that aggressive trap. They're not necessarily trapping, but they're playing and using that speed to pressure the other team before they can even make their own.
And then counterattack on their mistake, which is how the Capitals won last year. And they did not do that at all this year.
They were doing the exact opposite, where they couldn't get anything going.
You saw it in Game 5 when the Capitals just fucking shit-pumped Carolina, that they were capitalizing, no pun intended, on mistakes. But for the rest of the series, basically, it was Carolina doing that.
Yep.
Carolina having odd man rushes, scoring on them. Yeah. So,
So Columbus has that going for them, I think, more than Boston, because Boston's kind of a little bit of that older mentality where they have speed, they use it as individual players, but it's not the team philosophy. So
yeah,
that they've got that going, I think.
like I said at the very beginning, I've never watched a game with these two teams playing each other. So I really don't know.
Has anyone ever seen these two teams in the same room? Like,
Yeah,
are we sure they're two
I
different
really
teams?
don't know how they how they stack up.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be very exciting to me. That's why I'm so excited to watch this, because I've literally never seen them play each other.
This is my favorite part, because so many times the last few years we get the exact same series every single year.
Yeah.
Where it's like the second round is just like default Winnipeg versus somebody, or Washington Pittsburgh. It's the same ones constantly.
Well, and this is why the argument for a 1v8, 2v7, 3v6, 4v5s instead of the divisional and wild card.
We would have had
series.
it would have kept the first, the division leader. We still had like 1v8, 2v7, but it would have mixed up those middle two playoff
Yeah.
series, right?
But like you're saying that you like these new matchups and everything, right? Or these divisional ones, you usually see the same matchups,
Right, gotcha.
especially in the second round. I mean, that's Pittsburgh versus Washington. I mean, even Leafs Bruins.
So maybe the solution is to like reseed as a conference after the first round or something instead of the second round.
I don't know. I feel like if you pick one, you
Yeah.
got to stick with it. But it's just weird that like Columbus is battling for Atlantic champions when they're not in the Atlantic. So,
It is, yeah.
but I loved that 1v8 system because it wasn't forcing rivalries. They just happened organically.
Yeah.
And that's what I think playoff hockey is about. And when you get that really hated matchup, it's that much more special because it doesn't happen just every year. It's not forced. It just
For sure.
happens, right? And then you play
That's
them,
a
you're
good
like, oh,
rivalry.
these fucking guys, I hate them so much.
Yeah, and I do see what you mean now about the second round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so I'm excited for this series, and finally, I guess, what's the last one?
It's
I'm
the
blanking.
Islanders
Carolina versus
and
Islanders.
Hurricanes.
This one, I gotta go Islanders.
I've got the Islanders. I'm gonna say 5.
I'm gonna say, yeah, 5 as well. Although I could see it going longer.
I could too.
I mean,
think...
I had Washington sweeping Carolina, and it looked like I was gonna be right until Game 3.
Yeah. So
But,
yeah, this one could go. This one could go either way. It's hard to see how Carolina.
it's like the battle of the loud arenas. But now Islanders are in Brooklyn again.
Yeah.
So was
it's
it
loud. It's
Barclays?
loud, but it's for
Oh, they
it's
got
because of car horn.
honky.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's loud because there's a car horn again.
Honky as game changer.
I think so. If they're in like the middle of like a crucial breakaway or something and the car alarm goes off again.
Starts honking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be distracting. Yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting because Brindamore is a very passionate guy on the bench, and he definitely outcoached Reardon.
Yeah.
But Barry Trotz is Barry Trotz, and he has his moments of emotion, but he's quite reserved, and you just see his eyebrow twitching.
Yeah. You know when he's focused.
And last year with the Capitals, he tweaked the game. He tweaked the strategies, and that was something he was usually hesitant to do. And he always played older players instead of younger guys. I mean, you saw that with like Nate Schmidt and Vrana. And then last year he played a lot more younger guys and played that trap and won.
Yeah.
So I see him winning the coaching battle because he's just super experienced and knows how to win in the NHL as a coach. And I think the game changer for me is going to be Leonard. I mean, I feel like I'm just picking goalies, but
Yeah, did that last time too.
Leonard, if he keeps up his play, I think Carolina's got nothing.
I think I'm flipping it and going Mrazek.
Yeah.
He played well in the first series.
I think he
But,
played well, but not as good as Leonard because
Exactly.
he didn't get very many shot attempts in a lot of games. The Capitals just got shut
So
down.
that's going to be the crucial point that I think I think the Islanders are going to be a better counter at this point to what Carolina's system is. That the
Right.
Islanders are a lot more physical. They seem to be more solid defensively, and they've got those forward lines, those rough forward lines, that
Yeah.
they're just gonna barrel through what Carolina's trying to do.
Yeah, I mean,
And
that's what I thought the Capitals would do because they were more physical. And then it was working when they played that game, but then so many other things weren't working.
yeah,
And I think will be working for the Islanders.
yeah. So I think the Islanders are going to be able to get more high quality scoring chances than the Capitals did, and Mrazek's going to have to stand on his head to make sure the Carolina's in the game.
Yeah, I mean, Mrazek made some huge saves, but he wasn't really what won that series for Carolina. So,
No, what won that series was the Storm Surge energy,
yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, that passion, that energy, that youthful exuberance that the team's got, that you were talking, like, it starts with the coach. Like, he's in it. Brendamore's, like, fully...
Yeah, I think that it's just the excitement of getting into playoffs finally. And after such a long, drought that they're finally in, that's what won it for them.
Yeah.
I don't think the building being super loud is what made the Capitals lose in Carolina, but
no, there's no way they'd let that get out of them.
no. I mean, they played in Vegas in the finals, so
yeah.
But yeah, I think the Islanders got it for the same reason. It's kind of the same long drought versus long drought, but I think the Islanders are a better team.
Yeah,
and with better goaltending. So yeah, I'm saying Leonard, and you're saying Mrazek.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got 5 games for this series for now, but it can.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. Yeah, 5.
5.
5 for the Islanders.
Finally, we agree.
Finally, that's why we kept it to the last.
This one's gonna be interesting because we were largely the same except for a couple of series in the first round.
Yeah, I picked. So who did you have as a successful series in round 1? I picked the Islanders. I didn't get the number of games right though. Obviously didn't pick the Canes. Didn't pick Columbus. I picked the Bruins in 7. I think.
Wait, maybe I only had 2.
I had the Islanders, Bruins. I picked Nashville, so I was wrong there. I picked Calgary, so I was wrong there. I picked Winnipeg, so I was wrong there. And what's the last series I'm forgetting here?
San Jose, Vegas.
San Jose, Vegas. I picked Vegas.
Yeah, I only actually had 2 in the first round. I thought I had 3 because I was assuming the Caps won.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had Boston, and I had the right number of games, and then I had St. Louis, but they were 1 game short.
Yeah. I picked the Islanders in
6.
6. Yeah.
I think it was 5 or 6.
So we're basically tied for a series here.
This is gonna be huge.
This is gonna be a big big game changer.
Yeah.
All right.
Good luck, my friend.
Yeah. Oh, one thing that just popped into my head is last week we were talking about Yzerman getting the gang back together, and it sounds like he's gonna do it.
It does.
He's getting Fedorov. Maybe.
There's talk about it, which in hockey terms means it's pretty damn certain that it's going to happen.
Yeah, because Fedorov was the GM of CSKA Moscow for a number of years. So I think it's a pretty shrewd move to get him into the organization because, A, you can kind of repair that bridge because he never got his jersey retired, and he's one of the all-time greats.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see that 91 hanging from the rafters. You have 19 and 91 back together. And he's going to be instrumental in getting European talent, especially Russian talent, into that organization.
And that's a big one I see too. It's just a huge PR move in the city. Because like you're going through this rebuild, you're probably losing a lot of fans. I think Detroit's had a bit of attendance issues with them the last season. I don't have numbers on that, so I can't confirm it. But it's a huge PR move too to start bringing these old favorites back in, to bring the old fans back into the organization. And like you were just saying, it's going to be massive for bringing the European players, especially from Russia. Because like that's always a constant concern is like, are they going to come over here? Do they want to? But if you have a reputable figure from the country such as Fedorov,
and he's knowledgeable because he was working in the KHL as a GM, so he might know some insider knowledge about different players.
Yeah. He'll have some prospects, some guys that he thinks are good or could transition well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's huge. He was a huge part of the Capitals, like building that Russian connection.
Yeah.
Coming back, he was apparently a nice, like, fatherly figure for a lot of those Russian players, like Ovechkin, Semin, I don't know, Kozlov, whoever. He's just a huge part of the game. Like, he's a huge
He's
player.
basically, to my knowledge, he's the only guy who could have probably played all 5 positions on the ice, right?
Yeah,
because
definitely.
he was a defenseman at some point.
Yeah, he filled in D. It's ridiculous.
And I mean,
he's such a smart, fast, high hockey IQ player.
Yeah,
he could just do anything. And I really hope that the rumors are true.
Now we're just gonna wait for Lidstrom and Hull and Shanahan.
Yeah, I think there's danger in getting too many of those guys together.
Yeah, well, then you end up with
the Oilers. Yeah, you have the old boys club.
Yeah,
but
I think the difference is that the Oilers never really left. Like they just they left, but not like they just came right back.
And Yzerman is a proven GM.
That's the other difference. The Oilers just bring in dudes back who have zero experience elsewhere.
Yeah, like, oh, you're a successful player. That means you can be a successful management.
Mm-hmm.
No, Yzerman has shown he can build a team.
Yep.
Like,
Fedorov
hands
has
down.
experience.
Yeah, Fedorov has experience being a GM. Maybe not in the NHL, but in the KHL. Bring him over in some other role, be some sort of consultant or something. I think it's going to be good. I've always liked the Red Wings. So I'm pumped up about this. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to add in here?
I think we covered everything important from that series. Or from that round, I should say.
Yeah, I guess
it's just amazing hockey. Like,
should mention, we already kind of briefly touched on it, but some officials aren't going to be making it to the second round.
So probably for the best, the officials from Boston, Toronto, and San Jose, Vegas are not making it through the next round.
Yeah, just from those particular games where the Boston Leafs series went kind of
so the Boston Toronto series from Game 2 and Game 7 from San Jose, Vegas.
Yeah, because there's other officials in a lot of those other games that are probably going to make it or are going to make it. Like Wes McCauley did Game 7 of Leafs Bruins, and to my knowledge, he's still in the second round. But I think it's O'Halloran, Furlat, and I'm not sure who did the Bruins game.
Yeah, I'm honestly... Hansen's one of them. Let's not moving on.
Oh, I know that guy.
yeah.
I legitimately know that guy.
Yeah, so he's done.
Oh, well, that sucks.
And one other, I can't remember his name.
Oh, Trevor Hansen.
Mm-hmm.
He's a nice guy.
Too nice because he didn't call a penalty in Game 2 ever.
I used to have him on Facebook. I know him from like a ref camp I went to when I was younger.
Yeah.
This was when he was reffing the WHL. I had him on Facebook, and then when he made it to the show, he deleted his Facebook, obviously.
Of course. There's no way that can stay.
I have no proof that I know him or knew him. I don't know him anymore. I'm not like, hey, Trevor, how was that game to ref?
Yeah.
But that's unfortunate. But, I mean, that happens. It's not like he's going to be out of the league or anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as any other
And plus, they always make cuts for the second round.
It
is third round and finals. They always do that.
It is typically based on merit and performance, but that happens to the players too.
Yeah. I mean,
you can't have like however many refs and linesmen in the finals.
Feels like there's been a lot of refs, a lot of officials retaring this season.
There's been a few. I think it's just starting to get a little bit more publicity in a sense, and it's a lot of names that we recognize from our growing up and like our experience with hockey.
Yeah, the officials are definitely getting way more coverage than I ever remember, and like more officials' names,
which unfortunately is not a good thing usually, other than Wes McCauley.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's cool that the officials have like their own fraternity and brotherhood, and they know that they're honoring Mick Magoo right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of them are just former players. They're part of the game.
Some level, yeah.
Yeah, and people forget that they're human too. Like you said, Jake DeBrusk. Did we mention
Oh
that?
no, we haven't yet. Yeah, so Jake DeBrusk and his family too. We're talking. I'm assuming Louis as well, getting
It's
death
all your
threats
fault. Yeah.
over game 2, over the series, and it's not even like an isolated incident. It's too many to report.
Yeah, it's
And
definitely crossing the line.
I don't understand these people who think it's appropriate in any situation to do that.
Capitals fans were doing that to Fogel too when he hit Oshie, and it's just like, why?
Yeah,
And especially that one, it's not clearly not intentional.
it's disturbing because it's like it's like we're not treating the players as humans anymore. They're just like objects of entertainment. And
yeah, they're not a human being. They're just an entity that I can interact with on social media.
Yeah,
I can send this to him on Instagram or whatever directly. It's really
it's
stupid.
disturbing.
Like, people don't think before they do that shit.
No, and then you get the ones who think they can just run around and be an asshole unchecked, and it's like, oh well, stop being sensitive about it. Well, like, don't be an asshole.
Yeah. Stop being so sensitive, you libtard cuck.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
It's like, okay, well, you don't get to just run around.
Just
be an
because you're a
unchecked
fan of
asshole.
hockey doesn't mean you get to like be
Yeah.
a shithead and do
Yeah.
whatever you want. Yeah.
So that's really unfortunate that people resort to that type of thing.
Yeah, I was gonna
And-
tie that in, and sorry, just continue your point.
What was I gonna say even?
Sorry, I fucked you up.
Oh, it's one thing to criticize a player's play in the way that a commentator and like TV personalities do, but it's another to attack the person.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you're a piece of shit.
That's too far. Like, you
You're
can criticize
gutless.
a person, like, oh, we're talking about Gardner making a dumb play when he tried to back pass. Like, that's a specific criticism about the play. We're not attacking Gardner.
Yeah.
We're saying he made a bad play.
Yeah. You're attacking Gardner, the Leafs D-man, not Gardner, the human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's well aware that he
They're
made
not
a bad
attacking
play.
him, they're
That's
criticizing him.
exactly.
Yeah, I was going to tie that in and say, like, these officials are definitely getting shit.
I wonder if
too.
that's like, we're seeing so much more critique on the officials' performance the last couple of years, which partly is due to the amount of people on social media in these forums that like abuse officials for everything they do.
Right.
But you also have to wonder like how much of this they see, and like we're seeing the rise of the refs you suck chant coming up just
for
out
no
of
reason.
nowhere. Like, how much pressure are they under that they end up screwing up because they've got these 20,000 people in the arena critiquing them immediately.
Oh yeah, that's like what I said about a guy gets hurt, you make a call, one team's gonna be mad at you either way. Like, you're either gonna have ref you suck chance, or you're gonna have fucking a crazy bench, a team that fucking hates you.
Yeah.
Coach fucking yelling at you like Rod Brindamore. But yeah, it's stupid that ref you suck. You saw like plays that don't warrant that.
Yeah. It's
and
just becoming
fans
the
jumping
default.
in, and you have like play like Williams hitting Mrazek, and then obviously no penalties being called in the Capitals because they didn't do anything, and then Carolina fans are chanting "Ref, you suck" when a Canes player hit the Canes goalie. It's like, what the fuck? That's not like you're making it less special by overusing it.
Yeah, it used to be saved for like the worst goalie interference botch-ups. Or like refs you suck and bullshit.
I mean, it's playoffs, so people are more emotional and things matter more. But I mean, obviously, people are drinking, they're having a few pops at the game, and yeah, I think also like what you're talking about, like the social media stuff. It's a lot more casual fans joining the game, especially during playoffs.
Yeah.
So you have more of that happening. A lot of people who don't pay attention to, say, I don't know, just team XYZ, and then when they're doing well in playoffs, they jump on to the bandwagon, and then they watch the game, and they're like, oh, that's a fucking penalty, and then they go on social media.
Yeah.
It's not cool, but that's just the way it goes, I guess. Go to any sports bar, you'll hear
just
that. You'll hear a lot worse
idiots.
shit. Yeah. So
it's unfortunate that people can't just like go and watch and like enjoy the atmosphere and just watch people like playing a sport.
I mean, some people have money on the line too, right?
Yeah.
So
now they get pissed off at losing their money, not the people.
Might lose their money, so they blame the players, and they might have their legs broken or something. So yeah, yeah, I guess that's kind of all she wrote for
Yeah,
this
so
little preview.
we're excited. The second round starts in a couple hours here.
Yeah. Might not have an episode on Sunday. I'm moving, so it might be a little while.
Might be a bit delayed. I'll see. Maybe I'll throw something together on the weekend.
Yeah.
To keep it going and get the first couple of games out of the way.
We're gonna be in different cities, so we're gonna have to figure out how.
That's another thing. The audio quality may take a bit of a change here.
Yeah. But we'll still be making
setup.
episodes, so it might just be a different format with me being in a different location.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So anyways, thanks for listening, everybody, and make sure you like, subscribe, and share our podcast with your friends or your family. If you want to keep up to date on the latest content, we've got Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram where we post whenever we upload a new podcast or blog post and just some general random content as well. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.